In the serene village of Umudike, nestled amidst rolling hills and fertile lands, lived Adero, a healer like no other. Her beauty was unmatched, her smile radiant, and her hands carried the gift of life, a sacred talent passed down from her late mother. Adero's small hut, adorned with dried herbs and colorful calabashes, was a haven for the sick and weary. Mothers with swollen bellies sought her for safe deliveries, and parents brought ailing children, leaving with healthy, smiling little ones. Her fame spread far and wide, and even King Akin, the ruler of Umudike, revered her for her miraculous works. But where there is light, shadows often lurk. Adero's closest friend, Nwondo, harbored a growing envy in her heart. While Adero was celebrated and revered, Nwondo, though kind and skilled in her own ways, felt overlooked. The villagers' praises for Adero were like thorns in her pride, and each cheer for the healer's name deepened the bitterness within her. One fateful evening, as the golden sun dipped below the horizon, Nwondo devised a wicked plan. She approached Adero with feigned cheerfulness, carrying a small pouch of crushed leaves, and whispered, "Adero, I found a rare herb during my trip to the forest. It is said to enhance the potency of medicines. Perhaps it could help you heal even faster." Adero, trusting her friend, accepted the offering without hesitation. Little did she know, the herb was laced with a deadly poison. The next morning, a pregnant woman named Onyini visited Adero's hut, desperate for help. Her labor pains were excruciating, and her family feared the worst. Adero, as always, worked her magic, mixing the herbs into a soothing concoction. But instead of relief, Onyini's body convulsed violently, and within moments, she breathed her last. The villagers were horrified. Their trust in Adero shattered like a fragile pot. That same day, a child who had been treated by her fell gravely ill, and whispers of suspicion turned into a roar of accusations. The final blow came when the king, who had sought Adero's help for his feverish son, watched helplessly as the boy succumbed to death. "Adero has turned her gift into a curse," the villagers cried. "She has brought death to our land." Despite her pleas of innocence, Adero's voice was drowned by the anger and grief of the villagers. The king, blinded by sorrow and desperation to appease his people, pronounced her banishment. "You are to leave Umudike by nightfall and never return," he declared. Adero's heart broke as she was cast out, her tears soaking the dusty path leading to the dreaded evil forest. She turned to look at Nwondo, her only friend, hoping for support. But Nwondo averted her gaze, guilt masked by feigned outrage. The evil forest was a place of whispered fears and unspoken horrors. Tall, gnarled trees twisted toward the sky, their branches like skeletal fingers. The air was thick and oppressive, filled with the rustling of unseen creatures. Adero stumbled through the darkness, her cries echoing in the silence. Exhausted and broken, she collapsed at the base of an ancient iroko tree. As the moonlight filtered through the leaves, a chilling breeze swept across the forest floor. From the shadows emerged a figure, a spirit with an ethereal glow and eyes like burning coals. The spirit's voice was like 1,000 whispers, soft yet commanding. "Why do you cry, child?" it asked. Adero looked up, trembling. "I have been wronged," she said. "Banished for a crime I did not commit." My people, they turned against me. The spirit studied her, its fiery gaze piercing into her soul. The world can be cruel to the pure of heart, it said. But I can offer you power, power to make them pay for their betrayal. Adero hesitated. She was a healer, not a bringer of harm. But the bitterness of her banishment burned within her like a flame. What must I do? She whispered. The spirit extended a bowl of water, dark and shimmering like liquid night. Drink, and you shall become a force of vengeance. But be warned, this path comes at a cost. Desperate and consumed by anger, Adero took the bowl and drank deeply. Pain tore through her body as her form began to change. Her once beautiful features twisted into something monstrous. Her skin darkened, her eyes glowed like embers, and an aura of malevolence surrounded her. She had become the spirit's instrument of wrath. That night, Adero returned to Umudike under the cover of darkness. Her presence brought death and destruction. Livestock fell lifeless in their pens, their bodies marked with dark streaks. Crops withered and rotted, leaving the once thriving farmland barren. The villagers awoke to find their livelihoods in ruins, fear gripping their hearts. The evil forest has sent its wrath upon us, they cried. Night after night, Adero unleashed her fury, her monstrous form lurking in the shadows. The people of Umudike were plagued by nightmares and despair. And amidst it all, Nwondo, who knew the truth, lived in silent terror. Desperate for answers, the villagers turned to the village priest, a man of wisdom and spiritual power. 4 days, he fasted and prayed, seeking guidance from the gods. Finally, he gathered the villagers and spoke. The spirit of vengeance that torments us is none other than Adero, the healer we cast out. She was wronged, and now she seeks justice. To end this, we must make amends and appease her spirit. The villagers were struck with guilt, realizing the depth of their mistake. The king, too, was overcome with regret. Under the priest's guidance, they prepared a sacred offering, a white goat, baskets of yams, and a calabash filled with palm wine. They ventured into the evil forest, trembling but resolute. Adero appeared before them, her monstrous form towering over the villagers. Her glowing eyes burned with fury as she demanded, "Why have you come?" The priest stepped forward, his voice steady. "We have come to seek your forgiveness, Adero. We were blinded by anger and failed to see the truth. Accept this offering and return peace to our land." Adero hesitated, the bitterness in her heart warring with the healer she once was. Finally, the spirit that had transformed her appeared once more, its voice echoing in the air. "Your vengeance is complete," it said. "You may choose to let go of your pain and find peace." Tears streamed down Adero's twisted face as she stepped forward, touching the offering with her clawed hand. A burst of light enveloped her, and when it faded, she stood before them, her beauty restored. From that day, Adero became the guiding spirit of Umudike, protecting the village and ensuring prosperity. The people built a shrine in her honor, where they came to seek her blessings and guidance. Peace returned to the land, and Adero's name was spoken with reverence once more, not as a healer, but as the guardian of Umudike.